Tuesday in Tryon, North Carolina, and the weather's been gorgeous again today. We had just a very light shower around 5 o'clock, but it's just been a beautiful day again. We went out to the Equestrian Center. It's a fantastic place, and if you're ever in the Tryon area, you want to definitely see the Tryon International Equestrian Center. It's something to behold. $90 million will be invested there in that center, so it's going to be quite a thing to see. Well, Paul precludes a lot of problems and answers a lot of questions in the book of Romans. It's perhaps one of the most doctrinally rich books that we have in our Bible. And there's questions like, what is sin that is answered? Is it inherited from Adam? Is it genetically passed on from man to man? What happened to those people between Adam and Moses when the law came, and what was the criteria for their lives. And so we find those answers in chapter 5 of the book of Romans. We find Adam 1 and Adam 2 referred to. Adam 1, of course, in the garden with Eve being disobedient, and that answers the question, what is sin? Sin is any disobedience to God. Anything displeasing to God is sin. Do we inherit it? No, we don't. We create our own sin through our own self-will and our own disobedience to God. Is it genetically passed? Of course not. What happened to those people from Moses back to Adam? Well, if we look carefully at chapter 5, we find that people are justified by faith, which is into grace. Justified by faith into grace. So whether it's justified into faith through Christ, or whether it's with the revelation that those in that age had, which is in God, nevertheless it's still faith and grace. And it's really interesting because in chapter 5, verse 6, Dr. Whitty, the president of Lutherized Seminary, who's now gone to be with the Lord, preached an entire message one time on verse 6. When we were helpless, God demonstrated his love. When we were helpless, not when we were weak, not when we were not doing well, but when we were helpless, when there was nothing we could do for ourselves at the right time, God sent his son Jesus to die for us. And we're justified not by works, but by faith in God and his love for us in sending his son Jesus. We're justified by the blood and saved by Jesus Christ. When we were still enemies, the enemies of God, he reconciled us through the blood of Christ. And so by one man, sin entered into the world, that is through disobedience, that's Adam 1. By one man, that is Jesus in the flesh, all God and all man, sin was dealt with once and for all, and all men can have forgiveness and eternal life through him. Death reigned from Adam to Moses, just like it reigns today through disobedience to God. However, by faith, we enter into grace, the grace that will save us and give us an eternal life with God. And so it's a very, very beautiful book. It gives us great insight into not only sin, which is any disobedience, anything displeasing to God, but it also gives us a wonderful picture of grace and justification through his blood. And the same criteria from day one has been faith in God. That's our way of finding his amazing grace, is our faith in him. And we have the privilege of knowing that Jesus was sent to die for us, and through his blood we're saved. It's a wonderful, wonderful thought. And I think that all of us should be very thankful that God demonstrated his love while we were helpless, while we could do nothing for ourselves. He justified us just as if we hadn't sinned through Christ's blood, and we entered into his wonderful grace. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.